Welcome back to Combust Astrology. My name's Liv. Let's go ahead and jump into Uranus and Gemini for Cancer risings. All right, so to start off, let's actually look at where you have Uranus. I call Cancer risings the smartest in the zodiac simply because the 3rd house and the 12th house are Mercury driven. And everything else that this chart does, it does really well by basically playing innocence, and most people won't be able to catch on until it's too late. So where's Mercury? Mercury for Cancer risings is both 3rd and 11, but specifically Gemini is in the 12th, and Gemini being the quickness of perception, it's filtered through the 3rd, which here is in Virgo. So when I look at this, I think to myself, wow, Virgo is having an emphasis on this Mercury, which is seen through the subconscious. It's like the 12th house. That's what I'm thinking, but I'm going to break that down. The womb, the feminine, darkness, where we get creativity from, is occupied by Mercury. So this, to me, always shows a restless mind. As Jupiter has gone through the 12th house, a lot of these people have been going through it, crashing out in public. But depending on the rest of their chart, they might have been able to keep it a secret long enough. The person that I use as an example is the infamous Mr. West, and I'm not going to say anything else besides that, but Jupiter going through and conjuncting their moon in Gemini, right? At the same time, getting a Jupiter return all through last year really emphasized this energy, specifically 2023 to 2024. And in the 12th house, Jupiter brings a bunch of unknown that it's like, now is the time to test it out. All the crazy thoughts that you thought, do it now. And it's really on the 3rd house. If the Mercury is strong enough, if Virgo is strong enough, meaning there are several placements, like if this was a natal chart, I'd say, okay, this person probably won't exhibit all of the 12th house stuff out loud because they're going to keep it up to wraps with Mercury, like if it's Sun and Mercury, and Virgo with the South Node here. But regardless, this is something that's happening and it's brooding under the surface. So for you guys that have this whole transit, one of the biggest things that I want to say that you really want to be mindful of is individuality. You are you, and you don't have to try and be anything else, because the more you actually try to do that, the more crazy and difficult this might actually get to contain all of this energy, because I believe when I say this is a lot. Now, that was with Jupiter. Right? Jupiter is now in Cancer, and there's a video for you for that, so don't worry about that. But let's go back to Uranus, which is sitting in that 12th. I'm not here to try to guess what Uranus will do on its own, but I'll say this is infinite. I truly feel like this is just like a pocket of time where your wildest dreams can come true outside of just working for it, but truly believe that. With Pluto and Aquarius having a trine to Uranus, and then also if you have your own 4th house placements, but the sextile that both of these energies will have to the 10th house, this is why I'm like, you can have anything, your wildest dream. And if Uranus is doing its job correctly, and you, I don't want to say oppose the 3rd house Virgo, but if you learn the lessons that Saturn and Pisces taught you, then this 3rd house can actually, not mute itself, but definitely like give the whole transit a period of time, a moment where it won't try to silence everything. Oh, I had a video playing in the background. I don't know if my audio seeped in. Hopefully it didn't, but like the biggest thing here is to not mute all the craziness. It is crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is crazy, but don't mute it and rather just observe it. For instance, when you meditate, the biggest thing you're doing, or the easiest thing you can do, is just monitor your breath, right? the most difficult thing to do is to stop all of your thoughts. Like, that's very difficult. And when people say stop thinking, it's not as easy, but it does come over time. As you continue to meditate, you will notice that a lot of the stuff that you think come and go quicker, at least what I've noticed. But even what I've read when I've practiced meditation prior, like, that was a really big thing. And I think that the Uranus in Gemini is just to allow that stream. It's almost as if you're tapped into the, let's just say, divine consciousness of the universe and all of the realms, all of the different parallel universes. And so what Uranus will be doing here is actually showing you every single possibility through infinity. Your biggest task, though, is picking the single ones that you find most important. Maybe it's here, or it's here, or it's here. And what I feel like could happen is that because Pluto will initially trine this, and Saturn and Neptune will be in the 10th, and they will kind of like, they're reining it in for you. Trust me. This is, I think about how Jupiter was for you. This was a state of psychosis for some of you. It could have been schizophrenic. Like, without quoting DSM-5, I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not diagnosing anything. But for the ones of you that I've done readings for, like, when I brought that up, your eyes have shot open, and it's like, yeah, someone finally gets it. Like, I thought I went crazy, but I wasn't. It was a pocket of time. And that energy, I think, is a lot less than what Uranus can do here, right? Jupiter was just the abundance of, right? Uranus is going to, like, give it to you, like, straight. And I think Jupiter could have gave it to you a little bit softer, even though it was a lot, but you could control it in a way. Don't bother trying to control it with Uranus, but learn to mute what isn't important, because I think, and this isn't, I think, using my knowledge, but not even history, because we've never been here. I think you guys basically become like time wizards. I feel as though the stream of this consciousness that you have here, you can just pull into any specific pocket of time because of the way that Pluto is, and take the resources and the knowledge from whatever to assist yourself into this. Maybe you don't even use all of it, but I definitely think it's something that's accessible to you now. And I think it's specifically a gift that the universe is giving you. So you shouldn't feel like it's a burden of performing or, having some sort of like, I have to do this or because I have this thing. It's just being aware that things will start happening, and having those conversations are important. I'm not going to say don't speak to people about it, but I think you're better off because the 12th house is, that going away place where you're sitting. 12th house is asylum. 12th house is subconscious, where you finally for instance, in Vedic, like, Saturn wants to be in the 12th because it gets to go away. It gets to be on its own. It doesn't want to be around people. So Uranus, even though it's not a physical thing, it's more mental, with Mercury sitting in there and Hermes constantly shifting. You need to have that space. Like, it's not a Scorpio placement, but if I say, for instance, Uranus would exalt in Scorpio, that's not like a true fact, but it would just be rebellion unchecked, and I could completely obsess over it. And I think that your 12th house is going to be that area. It will require that you can have your own mad lab as a scientist, or you can have your own very zen space. When I look at some of this, I don't know what to expect, but whatever it is, it's extreme. It could be like quitting everything and living in the forest by yourself to allow these streams of consciousness to come in and maybe trip on something. Not recommending drugs, but the Pluto here is changing significantly how you see things, and there's going to be so much like revelation with power dynamics and everything. At the end, I think you do benefit because Saturn, after it finishes and it does conjunct it at some point, the Neptune will be in that 10th, and this is why I'm like, it's a time pocket. Like, what do you want? You really have access to it. I think that people don't realize, let me not say people, but the idea of permanence is fake. Nothing actually lasts. And growing up, I've learned that just through losses. Having Scorpio placements is a blessing and a curse, but one of the biggest blessings is that everything I've ever loved or truly like appreciated or whatever, at some point in time, it's had to die. That doesn't mean you get jaded and you let go of it and you just decide I'm never going to appreciate things. But it definitely did make it so that now I appreciate the things I have even more, to give my full 1,000% to it in the moment. And that's why I'm saying this isn't like a performance thing where you have to reach some specific goal within the time that Uranus is in Gemini, but rather enjoy everything that's shown to you. Because if the universe is constantly in entropy and the system is constantly getting more chaotic, but at the same time, as our universe is getting more chaotic, it's also reaching towards its end. So the state in between, I feel like for you guys, this is where Gemini, Uranus being here, is like really, really pushing itself to be like, yeah, I'm going to show you everything. If you zoom out, and this is a very Uranus thing to think of, my mentor had shown me about this, but Aquarius is people, Uranus is sci-fi, and her name is Aluna Michaels. And the biggest thing here is the receptivity with Pluto to Aquarius with this. I think at first it'll probably be a lot of people stuff, like how can I do this? How can I interact? And then as Uranus starts to get over towards Libra and then eventually towards the Uranus itself, it'll be like, what is it that I can do for mankind instead of just the people? Or what is it that I can do that affects a lot than just the local person? That's fascinating to me. There's going to be so much. And maybe this has confused you, and you might not fully understand what I'm trying to say. But in the years coming, maybe save this video and come back to it, because I feel as though it will happen to where you see all that. So looking at the future is going to show you all of these possibilities. And that's why I'm like, you're going to see in essence how the universe is. Maybe it could be crazy. Maybe like, I hope you guys don't get like some sort of spiritual psychosis, but like it's a lot. It's definitely not just a walk in the park. And this is not even including the nodes as they go into the south node of Aquarius and all that other stuff, but just focusing on Uranus. The universe is chaotic. Even just thinking about like Earth, people die and they're born and this happens and this happens. Like imagine you're in a giant server, like a game, and everything is happening all at once at this. Well, let me not say that just in case. I'm not quoting the movie, but kind of the movie. If you've never seen it, watch it. But that's what it does. You're going to see all of it. And it's the overload that I'd be like, hey, like try to learn to mute what you don't need, because I don't think anyone should be connecting to that for like extremely long periods of time. It could make you, not want to be human, right? And I think for me personally, in some aspects, when people say this person went crazy, I look at it in the perspective of they just decided not to be human, because we perceive normal stuff based upon what it is that relates to being a normal human being. Even just diseases, quote unquote, or mental illnesses where someone does something completely different, it's against the social construct of our norm. Not defending anything, like I'm not defending like serial killers or anything like that, but I'm saying that it's outside of human bounds. So leaving that bounds, you're just becoming not human, right? I'm not going to say alien either, but you're not human. And that is because you're like, well, why bind myself to the construct of being a human and Earth when there's like a whole world out there? Like that's what I would think would be like the pitfalls of this Uranus placement. It's like, why do I have to? It would give you a sense of grand delusion because you're constantly shifting. But with that being said, just remember to ground some way, somehow. That's pretty much it for the video. I'll use the rest of the time to kind of give some updates. Thank you so much for watching. All right. So you made it to the end, or maybe you just halfway click through the updates. I am remodeling my website. I am also uploading on TikTok, and I'm trying to upload on YouTube a little bit more frequently now that I'm done with my competition. And I am also open for readings again. And I will try to work on Patreon. I'm teaching in person, and then I'm doing a little bit of online as well. And I'll be updating that as the months go on. But I just wanted to, just kind of let you know I will be a little bit more active. I'll try on this channel, and I'll try to incorporate new stuff. I'm going to be on someone else's podcast, and I'm going to be looking for people to actually spread within the astrology community. that's pretty much it. If you want to reach me out, my website is combustastrology.com, and then I also have a link tree. But yeah, if for whatever reason you're watching this and you're trying to access the website and it's down, it's just because I am working on it. So thank you so much for watching, and take care.